Tonight we're going to read Little Miss Star. She's pretty special because I think she may be somewhat similar to others of us. So here we go. Little Miss Star lived in Twinkle Cottage. Now, and I'll tell you a secret, but you promise not to tell anyone else. You will, won't you? All her life, Little Miss Star had dreamed of being famous. She desperately wanted to be famous so that everyone would recognize her and ask her for her autograph, and she would have her photograph in all the papers. But she didn't know how. There's the house she lived in. She dreamed about it when she went to bed at night, and she dreamed about it when she woke up in the morning. But how could she become famous? She had no idea. There she is, dreaming. Twinkle Cottage was just outside Tiddlyville, which is a small town a long way from where you live, and even further from where I live. One morning, Little Miss Star was out shopping in Tiddlyville. "Hello, Little Miss Star," everybody called out to her as she walked down the street. She was very popular, but she wasn't famous, and she wanted to be. She looks pleasant. But it was on that very same morning that Little Miss Star had an idea. An idea? Not likely. The idea. She was walking past one of the shops in Tiddlyville when something caught her eye. She stopped and stared. You see, it was that something that was to make her fame and fortune. Would you like to know what it was? Oh, I'll tell you later. She looks like she has found the idea, not an idea, but the idea. She jumped for joy and hugged herself with glee, and she hurried home to Twinkle Cottage as fast as ever her little legs would carry her. She was going to be famous. She knew it. She ran upstairs and hastily packed a suitcase. Oh, she looked so happy. And then she hurried downstairs, locked the front door of Twinkle Cottage, and went to the bus stop. The bus came, and she hopped onto it. "Fares, please," said the driver. "I want to go to Tiddly Port Airville," said Little Miss Star excitedly. The driver scratched his head. You don't by any chance mean Tiddlyville Airport, do you?" he asked. Oh, Little Miss Star nodded and blushed. The driver smiled and gave her a ticket. She's so excited she's gotten her words scrambled. At the airport, Little Miss Star bought an airline ticket. Where to? Oh, I'll tell you later. She had never been on an airliner before. It was all very exciting. "Hello," said an air hostess. "What's your name?" "Little Miss Star," she said. "And where are you going?" asked the hostess. "I'm going," said Little Miss Star, "to be famous." "Oh," said the hostess. That wasn't quite what Little Miss Hostess meant. After the airliner had landed, Little Miss Star collected her suitcase and took a taxi. Where to? Well, I'll tell you now. To a house. The taxi drove up and Little Miss Star got out. She knocked on the door. She could hear footsteps coming to the door, and then the door opened, and there before her stood a large man. "Hello," he grinned. "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm Little Miss Star, and I want to be famous," she said, all in a rush. Oh, you do you? Laughed the man. Well, you'd better come in and I'll see what I can do to help. There's the large man with the long legs. 3 weeks later, little Miss Star, home again in Twinkle Cottage, just could not sleep for excitement. Tomorrow is the day, she thought to herself. Tomorrow I'll be famous. But she did get to sleep eventually with a beautiful smile all over her face. And there she is in her dark cottage, sleeping away. The early morning sun streaming in through the bedroom window of Twinkle Cottage woke her. She jumped out of bed. Little Miss Star was much too excited to eat breakfast. She hurried into Tiddlyville. She rushed up to one of the shops. Which shop? Oh, I'll tell you later. The window blind of the shop was drawn, so she waited. There she is, waiting. And she waited some more, and then at 9 o'clock on the dot, the window blind was raised, and there in the window, oh, bliss! She jumped for joy. I'm famous, she gasped. And do you know what was there, filling the whole of the window? I'll tell you now. There she is, jumping for joy. Hundreds of books. And on the front cover of every book, there she was. And there at the top in big bold letters it said, Little Miss Star. Oh me, she gasped. And there underneath in color was a picture of herself. Oh my, she gasped. And there inside was her story. Show you again. And here you are reading it. That was a delightful small book, and I think it might lead to some more wonderful pictures by the person who's having me read these books, because I think she thinks that maybe I and then maybe she could talk a little bit about ourselves and whether we wanted to be a little Miss Star when we were young and how our life turned out. So maybe this will be a kind of introduction to some of that. We'll see. Good night.